to Live Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Sam.
And today we are beginning a 2-day article that will be exploring the world of wonderful food through the story of a French tire company.
Yes,
This is a very interesting company. They still make tires. I think for cars and race cars. They have that very interesting mascot who's kind of the round, puffy, white cloud man or tire man. But they're also totally famous in a very different part of the world or in a different area of life as being a restaurant guide company. I think a lot of people might think, oh, it's just two companies with the same name. I believe they're still the same company, and they started off making tires and then made a restaurant guide.
Yes, and I was one of those people where I never, again, of course I grew up with the name Michelin in the US of Michelin tires and things like that.
Go
and
by a
I
garage,
also,
you might see a sign.
Yes, and the Michelin man, he looks like a giant marshmallow
see him on TV, maybe.
guy.
Yeah.
Yes, and I also knew about Michelin star restaurants. But in my head, those two things never, ever, ever, ever had any connection at all.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, they just happen to both be called Michelin. No connection. But surprisingly, they do have a very big connection considering they started in the same place.
They did, absolutely. But like you said, I think if you say Michelin to most people today, they would be thinking of those restaurant guides and the 1, 2, or 3 stars that some of the best restaurants get. They fight hard for this, they work hard for this, they want to get that 3rd star or whatever, and that will make them one of the most famous and probably most expensive restaurants in the world. So we're going to be learning all about that, and also we'll be learning about some restaurants here in Taiwan that you could visit if you want to enjoy some of the most interesting and wonderful food. And don't worry, not all of the food in the Michelin Guide is very expensive. In fact, a lot of it is very cheap, almost street food. So you can actually enjoy a lot of it, even if you don't drive a car, and even if you aren't rich, you can still get some great food, and the Michelin Guide can send you on your way by bus or train or MRT. You don't have to drive there. All right, let's get to the article. From Tires to Steak Tartare, the surprising tale of the Michelin Guide. The Michelin Guide is known around the world for recognizing the finest in fine dining. But did you know that it started as a simple book for drivers? French brothers Edouard and André Michelin created it in 1900 to help people find places to eat, sleep, and fix their cars while traveling. The pair owned a tire company, and they wanted to get more people on the road. The guide quickly gained popularity, and 26 years after its launch, it started awarding stars to restaurants with outstanding food. Okay, yeah, we have a long title here. Let's talk about it just briefly. From Tires to Steak Tartare, we mentioned Michelin is a tire company. They make those round black rubber things that go on the wheels of your car, right? You need 4 tires on a car, 2 tires on a scooter or a bicycle. Michelin makes those. Steak Tartare, though, that is not something for your car. That is a dish you will get in a restaurant. It's French food, I think. It's basically like beef sushi. So take some beef, grind it up like you're going to make a hamburger, but then don't cook it, and you put spices and onion and maybe a raw egg on there, and people eat it. It's good if you like something slightly weird, but it's also kind of risky. You can get food poisoning because it's, not cooked meat. But anyways, that's a dish. It's a dish you would typically find in a French restaurant. So they do all of these different things, from tires to steak tartare and everything in between. The surprising tale of the Michelin Guide. It is kind of an interesting tale or story how a tire company became a company known for recommending restaurants. Let's find out all about that. It says the Michelin Guide is known around the world for recognizing the finest of fine dining. When we say the finest here, we mean the best, the top, the highest quality, fine dining, cooking and eating at a very high level, okay? It's often expensive, you often have to dress up, but the service will be really good. The cooks will be highly trained. The food will be stuff you could never make in your kitchen at home. It is so skilled, it is so difficult, and that's why it costs a lot of money. But did you know that it started as a simple book for drivers? The Michelin Guide, which is often called the Restaurant Bible, it actually started as a guidebook for people just driving around France on holiday.
Yes, and in the next part, we're going to see why. And so it says French brothers Edouard and André Michelin created this guide in 1900 to help people find places to eat, sleep, and fix their cars while traveling.
Really?
So if you own a tire company, you probably want people to be driving more. So you give them a guide that says, go see these places, and they will drive their cars.
There you go. Remember, this is before GPS. This is before Yelp or Google reviews, where you can find out where the good restaurants are. So this was something very useful for people in France. If they had a car and they wanted to take it out, they wouldn't, let's go that way. Well, where will we eat? Where are we going to stay? I mean, we don't want to just drive all night. So they made this guide that helped travelers, find their way around and find interesting things to do. I also like that they had garage information, fix their cars while traveling. They're telling you where the gas stations and the garages are. The Michelin Guide today, it does not do that, right? It will not tell you where to get your car or scooter fixed in Taipei. It'll tell you where to eat, but not where to get your car fixed. But yes, as Sam said, it was a very clever idea because the pair, the brothers, the Michelin brothers, a pair is two things that go together, like brothers. The pair owned a tire company and they wanted to get more people on the road. If people felt safe and confident going on holiday, they would drive more, they would use more tires, Michelin would make more money. It's kind of a clever idea.
Yeah, it really is. When you think about it, it makes total sense, but it also might not be something that, most tire companies would have thought of just off the top of their head. So very, very smart and very good sales techniques and kind of business acumen going on here. And it says, the guide quickly gained popularity, and 26 years after its launch, after they started it, after they released it, it started awarding stars to restaurants with outstanding food.
Interesting.
So by 26 years later, people are starting to understand what this is. They're following it. They're going to more of these places. So now there's going to be some competition among the restaurants. So they add another level to it by saying this one out of these 10 is the one you have to go see. So here's an award.
Or maybe this was feedback from the people who bought. Oh, you told us to go to that restaurant. It was terrible. We ate their steak tartare and we got sick. So maybe the Michelin people are like, oh, we got to kind of tell people which are good and which are not so good. Otherwise, they'll be mad at us. But this would definitely help with the popularity of certain restaurants.
Yes, and so we had that word popularity, and this is the noun form of popular. You will hear if something is popular, then lots of people know it, lots of people like it, it's a good thing. So its popularity has increased over time. And our example sentence says, baseball has gained popularity in many Asian countries. Baseball, kind of famously known as America's pastime, and now it has become popular all around the world in many, many places. So its popularity has increased. More people know it, more people like it. It's played throughout the world.
That's right. It has become more popular. Its popularity has increased. And so to figure out which were the best restaurants, they started to award stars to these different restaurants. To award, here we're using it as a verb. It's basically to give something that is kind of an honor or something very special, okay? You will award a prize to the person who wins the competition. You will maybe award some money to someone if they win a contest or a race or something like that. If you graduate from your school, they will award you with a diploma or a certificate that says you studied here and passed all your classes, that kind of thing. So giving something that is special, and you're recognizing that the person you're giving it to has done well, has been better than the others, has worked really hard. So we will award this to you in the same way that the Oscar awards, those little statues for movies, are awarded to the best films and actors and directors and that kind of thing. So to give the prize is to award it, and you might award an award. Yeah, weird. Charlie won the race and was awarded a gold medal. The gold medal was his award as a noun.
Yes, and they are awarding outstanding restaurants.
Sure.
And this word outstanding, you can kind of see the meaning already in it. If something is outstanding, it stands out. It stands above, or it's better than the rest. So if something is outstanding, it's awesome, it's amazing, it's wonderful, it's better than the other ones around it. So again, that's why it says outstanding, it stands out. You can kind of distinguish it from the other ones. Yes, these are all restaurants, but this restaurant is outstanding, it's amazing, it's better than the other ones. And we have Penelope did some outstanding work for her final project of the year. It was, everybody else did pretty good, but hers was just so good. This is outstanding, amazing, wonderful, good job.
Really, really good.
Yes.
There you go. All right, let's take a really, really good break, and then we'll be back with our article.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这2天的课程是要介绍米其林指南。很多餐饮业者都希望能够摘米其林的星星，不过同学们知道吗？它最初其实是一本为驾驶人设计的简单本子。法国兄弟爱德华米其林还有安德烈米其林，他们在1900年创立了这一本指南，目的就是要帮助人们在旅行的时候找到用餐、睡觉还有修车的地方。这对兄弟拥有一家轮胎公司，他们这么做就是希望让更多的人开车上路，而这本指南迅速受到欢迎，并在推出26年后开始颁发星级给提供出色美食的餐厅。Sam 老师说，哇，那对兄弟很有商业头脑，有商业敏锐度。老师用到 acumen 这个字 ，A-C-U-M-E-N， acumen 它可以表达敏锐或是精明的意思。再看单字 popularity。这个名词表示受欢迎、普及或流行。那例句提到说，棒球在许多亚洲国家受到欢迎。Sam 老师这时候提到，棒球是美国的国民娱乐。老师用到 pastime， P-A-S-T-I-M-E， pastime 表示消遣或娱乐。下一个单字 award， 它当动词有授予、颁发给的意思。Outstanding 则是形容出色的、杰出的。那这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。我们来看第一个重点是 start as 加名词，这表示起初是什么，一开始是什么什么。start 在这边当不及物用，它是指说以某种方式开始，那也可以写作 start out 或是 start off， 之后常常接 as 加名词来表示某人事物一开始的身份工作或者是特质。例如 they started 或是 they started out as coworkers but later became close friends。他们一开始是同事，但后来成了亲近的朋友。第二个重点是 get 加受词加地方，这可以表达使什么什么到某处。get 在这边是表达使移动的意思。例如 they managed to get all the bags into the trunk。他们设法将所有的包包全都放进了后车厢。好，接着回到课文中。
Establishments can be given 1 to 3 stars. 1 star means a restaurant is worth a stop. 2 stars mean it is worth a detour. And 3 stars mean a restaurant warrants a special journey just to visit it. In the 1930s, only a handful of restaurants had been awarded 3 Michelin stars. Today, there are 145 3-starred restaurants worldwide. The famous restaurant L'Auberge du Pont de Collonges in Lyon, France, was awarded 3 stars in 1965 and held the distinction for a record-breaking 55 years until 2020. In Taiwan, the first restaurant to earn 3 stars was Le Palais in 2018. It has since been joined by Terroir and JL Studio. All right, we are back learning more about Michelin, the tire company, and Michelin, the restaurant guides. It's all the same thing. But yes, after the Michelin guide for traveling and driving became popular, they started to give awards or started to award stars to the best restaurants in France. So people knew where to go if they want to get the best meal in that town or wherever. It says establishments can be given 1 to 3 stars. So this system started back in around, 1926 or something, but this is still the way it works today. That's where we're using the present tense. They can be given 1 to 3 stars. And here we use the word establishment. This is kind of a word with a lot of different meanings. I bet if you looked it up in the dictionary, there would be a lot of different meanings, and they're all kind of groups or categories. But here, when we say an establishment is awarded stars, we mean a restaurant, basically. There might be hotels in there too. I don't know if they still have hotels. I think sometimes they do, and restaurants. But basically, it's a business. It's some kind of business that's been set up to serve people, to provide a service to people. And it just kind of means business in this case. And in what we're talking about with traveling and restaurants, we mean restaurant, food, and hotel businesses for tourists. So this establishment, we could say, has been around for over 200 years. And if I'm pointing at it, what is it? Well, it could be a hotel, it could be a business, it could be a restaurant, I don't know. But it's old, it's been around for 200 years, and there it is, it's an establishment. All right, so what do the stars mean? Let's break it down so we all understand.
Yes, and so there are 3 stars that a restaurant could get. And so it says 1 star means a restaurant is worth a stop. So if you're driving past, well, you might as well stop it. And then 2 stars means it is worth a detour. So specifically going out of your way a little bit, like you were already on the journey, but you're gonna just detour and stop at that restaurant.
Okay.
And then it says, and 3 stars mean a restaurant warrants a special journey just to visit it.
Wow.
So if you have 3 stars, you could plan your whole trip around going to that restaurant because it is that good that you could actually say, I'm gonna go all the way to this city just for that restaurant.
Just to eat there. Wow, it's really, really special.
Yes, and so we had this word warrant, and this word means, in this case, used as a verb here, it means that it is worth doing something. So if you 3-star warrants a special journey, this sentence would mean that it is good enough to make you want to go and do a journey all on its own. So if it warrants it, it is worth it. Not really required, but just worth it to go do that thing.
It deserves it.
Deserves there. And so you could say like, this dessert is so good, it warrants having not eating my meal. Like I want that ice cream or that special dessert, and it's so good that it's gonna warrant me not filling up my tummy first because I want to eat that one.
Okay, so if you win something, that warrants getting a prize or a trophy or something like that. We also often use it with punishments and crime, right? A really terrible crime like murder, that warrants going to jail for the rest of your life. That's what you deserve. That's what should happen. So 3 stars basically means I'm going to that place just to eat at that restaurant. Wow, so clearly that is a very special restaurant, and clearly 3 stars is difficult to get. It says in the 1930s, only a handful of restaurants had been awarded 3 Michelin stars, okay? A handful. Now this obviously isn't a clear number. We're not saying only 10 or 9 restaurants had been awarded. No, a handful. It's one of those words we use to talk about an area of numbers, a range of numbers. The exact number, it doesn't really matter, okay? But it's a handful. It's not very big. It's enough to hold in your hand. Sometimes I often think of a handful as being around 5, because you have like 5 fingers, well, 4 fingers and a thumb. So it's a pretty small number. It would definitely be less than 10, more than 2 or 3, kind of in the 5, 4, 5, 6, 7 range, something like that. Not a big number at all. For example, only a handful of people were in the audience for our first show. There were only 8 or 9 people there, and most of them were my relatives or something like that. Not a lot of people. So a few restaurants back in the old days. What about now? Today, there are 145 3-starred restaurants worldwide, not just in France, around the world. That's not a big number.
That's still a very small number if you think about how many restaurants there are in the world.
And how many good restaurants and expensive, nice restaurants.
Yes.
but still only 145 reached that very high 3-star level. It says the famous restaurant L'Auberge du Pont de Cologne in Lyon, France, was awarded 3 stars in 1965 and held the distinction for a record-breaking 55 years until 2020. They lost one of their stars, maybe, or maybe the restaurant closed or something like that. So there you go. That's one of the longest runs that a restaurant has gone, having those big 3 stars. And it shows how difficult it is to do if that's the one restaurant we're looking at.
Yeah, and especially that's a good thing to point out that just because you get the star or once they give you the star does not mean that you keep the star. Yeah. You have to stay at that level for always, otherwise you lose 1 star, 2 stars, we go back down to no stars.
That's right. If the chef retires or people just get lazy, well, they might lose those stars and then, people won't go there so much anymore.
Yes, and so in Taiwan, the first restaurant to earn 3 stars was Le Palais in 2018. It has since been joined by Terroir and JL Studio. So now there are 3 3-star Michelin restaurants in Taiwan?
There are, yes.
So 145 in the whole world, and Taiwan has 3.
Taiwan has 3 of them, yeah. And I think Terroir, it started off as 1 or 2, and they've since been promoted to 3. So they've been working really hard. It shows you that hard work can pay off. So there you go. If you want to visit a 3-star Michelin restaurant, you don't have to fly all the way to France. You can do it here in Taipei. I'm not sure. JL Studio might be in Taichung.
Yeah, I think it's
I think it might be in Taichung. So you have a chance to do it. You don't have to get on an airplane, but you need money. All right, that's all the time we have today, but we're going to have more tomorrow, so please do come back and join us for that.
米其林指南在推出26年后，开始颁发星级给提供出色美食的餐厅。餐饮机构可以获得1到3颗星，1颗星表示餐厅值得驻足，2颗星表示值得绕道前往，那3颗星就表示这个餐厅它是值得专程造访的。在1930年代，只有少数餐厅获得米其林3星，那现在全球总共有145家3星餐厅。好，单字 establishment 这个名词，它可以指向商店、企业、公司等等的机构，这时候是当可数名词。establishment 也可以表达创立、建立，这时候是不可数名词。再看到 handful 是名词，用来表达少量或是一把一把的量。我们可以用 a handful of 加名词来表达少数的什么什么，一把什么什么。补充单字 warrant 它表示需要或者是实显得必要，它也有保证、担保的意思。Mike 老师提到这个动词可能会用于谈论赏罚的必要性。老师提到 trophy 这个字 T-R-O-P-H-Y trophy 它表示奖杯、讲座或是战利品。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来整理一下 worth 的用法。第一个呢，它可以表达值得什么的，值得做什么的，用法是 be worth 加名词或动名词。例如 The castle is absolutely worth a visit 那座城堡绝对值得造访。第二个呢，它可以表达价值多少钱，用法是 be worth 加上金额。例如 The painting is now worth $5 million那幅画现在价值500万美元。好，那么以上这些讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
The Michelin Guide is known around the world for recognizing the finest in fine dining. But did you know that it started as a simple book for drivers? French brothers Edouard and André Michelin created it in 1900 to help people find places to eat, sleep, and fix their cars while traveling. The pair owned a tire company, and they wanted to get more people on the road. The guide quickly gained popularity, and 26 years after its launch, it started awarding stars to restaurants with outstanding food. Establishments can be given 1 to 3 stars. 1 star means a restaurant is worth a stop. 2 stars mean it is worth a detour, and 3 stars mean a restaurant warrants a special journey just to visit it. In the 1930s, only a handful of restaurants had been awarded 3 Michelin stars. Today, there are 145 three-starred restaurants worldwide. The famous restaurant L'Auberge du Pont de Collonges in Lyon, France, was awarded 3 stars in 1965 and held the distinction for a record-breaking 55 years until 2020. In Taiwan, the first restaurant to earn 3 stars was Le Palais in 2018. It has since been joined by Terroir and JL Studio.
Hey, it's KiWi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie. And today I'm really excited because my friend is visiting me all the way from Arkansas.
What, Winnie?
You know the state in America, Arkansas?
You mean Arkansas?
Oh.
Looks like it's time to work on some pronunciation.
It's time to work on our pronunciations.
Please read the sentence.
He has accepted our invitation. He has accepted our invitation.
He has accepted our invitation.
Very good. And we also have...
We go there every day except Sunday.
We go there every day except Sunday.
What have we learned today? It's time to work on some pronunciations. Today's word, or words, are accept and accept. They sound completely the same, but they're actually different words. Our first one is, he has accepted our invitation. In this case, accept is actually a verb, and you'll notice it's spelled differently from accept. Which brings me to my next sentence. We go there every day except Sunday, so not on Sundays. Except is a preposition. That's all we have for today. KiWi later.